October 19th, 2012. This is the Quiet Bubble Podcast by Walter Biggins, episode 15. Okay, so this is a first for the podcast, a piece of fiction by yours truly. It's entitled How to Die. It was written about 10 years ago, cleaned up a couple of months later, and then subsequently submitted to 5 or 6 literary journals. There were no takers. And that's okay. In some ways, it's a juvenile piece of work, but I hold an odd, lingering affection for it. It is what some editors would call a flash fiction or a prose poem or a short short. I liked short shorts as a term, and I always referred to these things as my Daisy Dukes. Anyone who's a child of the 80s will understand what I mean there. The story, though it does glean from some aspects of my physical life, what my body looked like, whether or not I had a cat, whether or not I had brothers, is not autobiographical. Which is to say that I was not suicidal when I wrote the story. I'm not suicidal now as I broadcast it here. Merely, it was an experiment, a way to explore the possibility of a responsible suicide. Now, I honestly don't think there's any such thing. Suicide is the most supremely self-absorbed, selfish act a person can commit, and the effects of that act radiate outward to the friends and family who love that person for the rest of their lives. It's a horrible, lingering, hurtful thing. And if you find yourself, after listening to this story, thinking, oh, this is me, I'm at the breaking point. Please get help. Call a suicide hotline, talk to friends, talk to family, find a counselor. There's low-cost counseling all over the place. Get on some meds. Don't think of this as an excuse for you to hurt yourself. Despite the grim subject matter, I find this piece funny and interesting and oddly uplifting, and I hope some of that tone comes across to you as well. So, enjoy it, if I can say such a thing. And cheers. I hope you like it. I hope you'll give me feedback. And I hope you'll continue listening to this podcast. Thank you. How to Die. A Daisy Duke. It would be so easy. A bathtub of hot water, your serrated bread knife digging into your forearms, and then peaceful sleep. Or maybe just a full-liter bottle of some cheap vodka, and if that didn't do it, a stumbling descent down the outer stairs, past the college kids who glare at you because they know you don't like their music and hate that they shout all the goddamn time, and into your car for a drive. There's a ditch nearby, parallel to a park. That, at 40 or 50 miles per hour, should be enough. Perhaps harder would be by gunfire, seeing as you've never handled a real pistol or a shotgun or even an air rifle, wouldn't know the first thing about how to acquire a firearm, and probably couldn't even load the bullets anyway. Do you insert the gunpowder? How do you unlatch the safety? And then there's your cat. You have so few friends that it might be days before anyone noticed the smell, and by then she might be dead too. You'd need to fill 2 bowls apiece of water and food, maybe some wet food for her as a treat. Maybe she could survive on your corpse, in which case the bathtub's undoubtedly a better idea, since she would have a ready water source for weeks, even if the water was mixed with blood. Somehow you don't think this would bother her. But the bathtub plan is in some ways the most painful of the 3, the least sudden. Maybe you would have too much time to consider how foolish it was, which would just be compounded by your dissipating energy level and the clouded blood billowing out of you, making a scarlet ring around the tub. Should you clean the apartment before you leave? Maybe clear out the fridge? No matter how you do it, fully clothed or stark naked, you won't leave a particularly good-looking corpse. 30 pounds too much in the belly, slack thighs, no muscle tone in the upper arms, pudgy-faced and sad-eyed. So the least you could do is leave a sparkling apartment. So the gunshot idea is definitely out. There would be no control over the splatter. And you do want to be an organ donor, so you would need some way for people to discover quickly that you were gone. Calling your mom would be unbearable. "Hi, Mom, just wanted to let you know." She'd be inconsolable, would probably talk you out of it until the next time you get this low. Calling Dad is unthinkable. Maybe your brothers would be calm enough to understand. They could call your parents, let them know, and come to collect the body. You imagine your organs are in reasonably good shape. You haven't been to a doctor in years, not even for a physical or dental checkup. God knows what shape your gums are in. Should you perhaps send a card to family members? You could decorate it yourself. Send copies to your parents and your brothers. Send the cards on Friday. Lie in the bathtub on, say, Sunday, and your family would be at the apartment by Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. On the front door, you'd leave clear instructions about what to do, how to handle things. You want to be cremated and to have your remains spread out over White Rock Lake. No funeral, no wake, no after party, no weeping sessions with fond, bitter memories. Just the waves lapping up and dissolving the ashes, and then nothing at all.